So, when we moved out to this property a little over 20 years ago, there was nothing here. There was no electricity, no running water, no structures whatsoever, definitely no chicken coop. But what we did was we put up a military tent and we moved into it. And we decided that we wanted to be debt free. We went about paying off any credit cards or vehicle loans. Any money that we owed was paid off. And then we set about building our home, and we decided that we were going to build it as we could. We lived in that tent for 3 years. We slowly got to the point where we had a well, so we had running water then, and eventually got electricity, and kind of went from there. But it has been the most freeing experience of my life to move through it with no debt. Not always the most pleasant thing to do, but it has been extremely beneficial in getting things accomplished that we wanted to. We started out with this Connex here, having our belongings in it. We purchased it when we moved out here. And as time has gone by, we've built onto it to create a little bit more space for a sheltered space for working on things. There are woodworking tools over there, and we now have electricity over here where we didn't for a long time. This is a very recent addition. So there are lights and the ability to create some things ourselves that we want. And most of the things out here that we've built are largely, if not completely, using repurposed things that we've found or that have been given to us, or that we're going to be ending up in a landfill or something like that. And that has been a huge resource that we've relied upon to get some of the things that we want. Um, like with this big shade cloth structure here over one of my gardens, telephone poles that were pulled up by the utility service, these wooden ones that were just going to be thrown away because they were replacing them with metal. We cut them to size, bury them partially in the ground, protected, of course, because creosote, and guardrail from a road construction job. Makes this like the sturdiest structure ever for the shade cloth that protects my garden in the summer. This shed here, all the tin was repurposed. We didn't pay for any of it. It was all just going to be thrown away or lie there and rust into oblivion. So this garden shed was basically free, except for the hardware like the screws and things like that. It has now electricity to it as well. We finally did that. But there is so much that can be done with things that most people consider to be rubbish or garbage that you might not think about unless you're already thinking about it ahead of time. Like this little pile of uh, metal poles here. Someone gave this to us because it had a bent pole and they didn't want to mess with it. And so it was going to end up in a landfill or something, or just sitting there rusting away as well. So we're going to fix that metal pole. I can take you guys along on how this is all coming together, but it's going to be a little cold frame or high tunnel type situation for gardening, and all done with the eye to saving not only money but resources that someone else just deemed unnecessary or not wanting to deal with it. There's so much that can be done with things like that. If you go on Craigslist, you can find people just wanting to get rid of things. If you come and get it, they're more than happy to just give it to you. Or if you drive by a construction site and you see their dumpster full of whatever might be. It could be anything, really. There's so much waste that goes on in all industries, really. But building materials are precious, and when you live out like this, it's pretty important to take advantage of whatever you might be able to find or have available. And we do have the space to keep a lot of things that to maybe a lot of people it would just be considered a pile of junk, but I can't tell you how many times we've utilized these things to make something extremely useful, very valuable to us for little to no cost. So just a thought, just something that if anyone who is like-minded is interested in, these are some of the things that I'll talk about on this channel, how we have taken something that was going to be destined for the landfill and used it to create something that has just been so helpful to us. And anyone can do it. So come along for that, and hopefully you'll find it interesting.